Good morning, everybody. How we doing today?
Good.
How are you?
Good, good. Got a couple more people joining in here. Scott, good to have you back. How was your trip to Hawaii?
That was great. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Having
I
some
don't know if-
technical difficulties on the video.
Oh, you're fine. For those of you that didn't see it in the Ren Success community group, Scott actually went out to Hawaii with Michelle Akihito, and they went door knocking together to practice. So it was very exciting, and they got some new opportunities out of it. So just wanted to give Scott a shout out, for constantly implementing the practices that we're teaching in group coaching. And his 49ers beat the Packers, so there's that too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I wish we could say the same for the Bills. But,
Oh no, I love the fact that you can't say the same for the Bills.
I do
was-
too. Sorry, Isaiah. Sorry, not sorry.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
I was gonna put my name as Scott Norwood a few times for you.
Oh wow, the low blows. The low blows are coming out. I was telling the Brown team I already have contacted my counselor, so I don't need any. I don't need that. What's going on, Audrey? It's good to see you. How you doing?
Too.
How's things going with your first couple weeks with the brokerage?
It's a slow startup, but it's all right.
Yeah, it usually takes a minute to get integrated because there's a lot going on, right? So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just waiting. Finally got all my login stuff, so I'm trying to get in there.
Good. All right, John, you think we're ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So as you guys know, this is, the focus of this is to really make sure we're positioning ourselves to get as many listings as possible. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to go over a really cool tool called Cloud CMA and show you guys how to use this tool to negotiate or basically separate yourself from your competition, provide an awesome CMA, but also kind of do something a little bit different than their normal experience when a client is interacting with an agent. And Bobby Gall is going to be going through that tool in a second here. Before we get down into that, I just want to remind everybody about, or just kind of like do a recap of what we covered so far in training. And so, or in this session. So listing domination, the first thing that we talked about was making sure that we have our metrics and our goals like on lock, right? That was the first thing. And so if we could everyone go to their dashboards really quick? Okay, if you go to your dashboards really quick. So, and John, if you don't mind sharing the screen and pulling up the dashboard. And then when you log in, go to where it says the Sales and Marketing Academy, which you're logged in. The Ren Sales Academy. All right, and then you can see, click where it says Listing Domination Secrets. And for those of you that are tuning in, maybe for the first time, or maybe you've missed a couple sessions, this is basically a step-by-step game plan that I put together to do 100 listings a year. And it's very similar to the game plan that myself and the two agents at the time did, where we did 151 transactions our very first year, and majority of those transactions were on the listing side of the business. And so what I did is I documented it in bullet point form, and what we're doing is together we're going down line by line on what it takes to get these various steps implemented in our business to work towards that goal, to get as many listings as possible. Maybe your goal is not 100 listings, but if you're hanging around me, one of the things that I practice and I preach is to always think bigger, right? So maybe 100 is a stretch for you right now, but for some of you, if you're doing 50 or 60 with a few tweaks, you can get to 100 listings. Some of you are doing maybe 20 or 30, and you with a few tweaks, you can get to 50 or 60. So the number isn't as important as I want to make sure that first and foremost, we stretch our thinking, and we don't limit ourselves, or we don't have self-limiting beliefs to say, well, oh, I can't get X amount of listings, or there's no way I could ever hit that goal, and just to make sure that those conversations are not going on in our head. Because if, like we talked about before, is if we don't believe it up here, if we don't really believe it, and we can't see it, we're never going to achieve it, right? And so that's why we start off by making sure you set a clear income goal. And if you haven't done that yet, I'm going to have John drop the sales calculator in the chat. We don't have time to go over it today, but make sure that you've got that sales calculator done. Then from there, you should be clearly tracking your metrics. Okay, so we have a metric sheet, okay, that you should be tracking all of your daily activities. And so I just want to pause there for those of you that have been hanging around. I want to have some open discussion on what some of the positive things that have been happening for those of you that have implemented those two strategies, where you got your goals clearly mapped out and you've been using your tracker. I want to have some open dialogue on some things that are working well, or maybe some things that you're running into that we can discuss before we get into today's training. First of all, how many people have been using their tracker? How many people have actually been following through with it? Okay, come on, folks, we got to get going. Okay, so
Isaiah,
go ahead.
I was going to say I'm just a rookie here, wet behind the ears, and so this is great for me. But the sales tracker is new for me, where I'm not sure what to plug in exactly. So I just want to be plugging in realistic numbers. So maybe would I go over that with Emily tomorrow, or when I have my call with her, or just to work through that?
I think too, we could do a breakout session with you really fast. So if one of the coaches could do a breakout session and
Thanks so much.
walk through the sales calculator. And if anyone else has not done that yet in this step, I would suggest you go with him and do that breakout session, because it is the foundation of knowing what you need to accomplish is the foundation of everything we're talking about, right? If we don't know exactly what we need to accomplish with our metrics and what it takes to actually achieve the goal, conversations, appointments, presentations, all that good stuff to hit the goal, I'd highly recommend you go to the breakout room. Okay.
Yep. And so I just created a breakout room for Amy. So Amy will meet you guys in there. If you can just put in the chat that you'd like to go to the breakout room, I will get you assigned so that Amy can review the sales calculator document with you.
Cool. All right. We got some people that are going to go. All right. Somebody said that in the chat that they have been using the metrics tracker. Let's see. Okay. Melanie, how's that been going?
It's been going pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm kind of having to stick to, the main things that I do, but I think it's an eye opener as to kind of what I'm being really dominant on, and then things that I really realize that I really need to work on. So it's a great tool to track really where your strengths and weaknesses and what you need to start improving. So I'm trying to take some of the stuff and implement them, even if it's just a small piece.
Melanie, I'm glad you said that, because I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, where a lot of our students, a lot of our clients, and even what I was guilty of, is when I started doing the tracker, I started trying to implement everything at one time. And it was extremely overwhelming, and I got good at nothing. So, and it wasn't until I had the mental shift where I said, okay, I don't have to accomplish everything in the sales and marketing plan. Let me just focus on what I can improve incrementally. to drive results. And then over time, you just get better and better. And then you look up a year later or 6 months later, and you're like, wow, look at what I've accomplished. And you've actually have results, and you have commissions to show it. So Melanie, that's awesome. And I'm glad you said that. I think there's tremendous wisdom behind your approach there of just taking it step by step and implementing what you can right now, and knowing those other things are there, right? If I'm hearing you right, you know that they're there, but you're just going to work on them as you're going, and as you're kind of getting your sales and marketing plan fully implemented. Am I hearing you right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And you know, some of them I have never done before. So it's great just to have that eye opener, what I need to do.
Awesome. And I know a lot of people that maybe this is your first time you're asking for that tracker. It is, we did a whole training on this. So John, maybe you can show them where the tracker is, and then show them how to watch the recording of the previous training. And then we'll dive into Cloud CMA here. Yep.
So what you guys want to do is, when you're on your dashboard, if you go to the Ren Sales Academy right here, it brings you to this page. And this first section called Technology and Marketing Secrets, there's a sign-in link. You should all have login credentials if you're a Ren client. If you don't have your logins, you want to go to rensupport.com and just request the logins for the Sales and Marketing Academy. Okay. Once you've logged into the Academy, you'll notice that the first section that's opened up is the Introduction to the Sales Acceleration Blueprint. And there's a subsection called Sales Calculator, where Isaiah and I have recorded some training videos on how to set up your sales calculator and actually utilize the tool. And you can always find the resource right here. Okay. So there's 3 training videos that go along with the sales calculator, and then the resources right here. And then for the metric tracker, there are another 2 videos on how to utilize the metric tracker under tracking performance. And again, your resources are right here that you'll need for the video training. Okay. Does anybody have any questions with how I got there?
Good. All right. Who's going to commit to making sure that they're using their tracker on a daily basis, or who's going to recommit that you're going to use it on a daily basis? Okay. So recommit to that. If you're, and I'm just going to keep, we're going to start every meeting over this, or no, we're going to start every meeting talking about this, because it's so important. And if we can't identify what our numbers, what's happening in our business, can we make good decisions, folks? If we're not looking at the numbers of what's actually happening in our business, can we make effective decisions? We can't, right? And that's why it's so important. Okay. So with that, I'm excited to get into today's topic. We're going to move down here. We did talk about daily habits and routines, how important they are to feed our mind, feed our bodies, feed our spirit. So hopefully you guys have been getting and really focusing on your routine. And then our last training, we were talking about different types of text messaging campaigns, email campaigns. And today we're going to keep, so if you look at the section here, okay. If you look at the section here on the screen, we're going to be spending a lot of time where it says developing and executing your sales and marketing plan. We're going to be spending a lot of time on this section, okay, and just chipping away at it every single week with a goal just to get a little bit better every week, okay? And so today, what we're doing is we want to talk about a tool that is really powerful when it comes to follow-up, nurturing your leads, and helping you close more deals when you're trying to get a listing. And Cloud CMA is a phenomenal tool. By show of chat, how many people have tried Cloud CMA or are currently using Cloud CMA right now? By show of hands or chat. Okay, cool. How many of you think you could probably take advantage of some of the resources and tools that it offers more effectively? By show of chat. Okay, some people said it's not available in their area. Okay, so we'll look into that. Well, I have Bobby Gall. He is my partner with the brokerage. He runs the brokerage. and him and I are working together. We got huge goals this year. We're going to try to attract 100 agents this year, which is a big goal. And he's just doing awesome. And I'm really, Bobby, just working with together the past couple months been awesome. And so he's been digging into the Cloud CMA tool. We've been trying to integrate it into our process. So he's going to share with you what he's learned and what he's using it for. And let's have some open dialogue. So if some of you are using Cloud CMA and you have some tips as well, feel free to jump into this conversation. Is that cool with you, Bobby, as you're going along?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get out of your way. Go ahead.
Perfect. So I'm just going to walk through my, step by step what I do when I have a lead. We all pay money for leads, or we built relationships for our, spheres of influence and everything. So what I look at it, the way at my leads is I will throw everything at the leads, because we paid money for that. And then what my listing presentation is, where I close the deal. So when I get a lead, regardless of who it is, I will throw it in my CRM, which is, the Ren Marketing Hub or Lion Desk. And we have different nurture campaigns for different types of leads there. And they will, constantly get emails bombarded through our drip campaigns. We also throw those contacts into Whitley. So I'm not sure if everybody knows what Whitley is, but you put their contact information and whatever campaign you have set, it will pop up on their social media. So they're getting emails from you, they're getting text messages from you, and when they're on their social media profiles, they're seeing, you and your company. So that builds brand awareness, and that, makes them, think you're the big dog in the area. And another thing we use is Cloud CMA, which I love this tool. It's called HomeBeat. So HomeBeat will, you could set it up monthly, quarterly, or yearly. I just go for the monthly because I think, they should receive at least some update on their house every month. And what that HomeBeat does is it'll say, it'll come from your email. So they think, you're taking the time to do this, but it'll say so-and-so house went into, active, pending, expired, listed, sold, whatever the status is. So what that does for you is that makes you the expert in their area without you actually having to put the time, to put that in. And just like John's showing you right now, it will show you everything in their neighborhood. So essentially you become the expert for the neighborhood. And everybody, in my contacts list will go into HomeBeat. And the reason for that is, you're going to be the expert in their neighborhood. So even if they're not going to list today, right? I think, Isaiah, what was it? We got to at least touch them 8-9 times before they actually sell and list.
Yeah. It's anywhere between 8 to 12 contacts or connections in some way, shape, or form before they're gonna convert is really the trend or the average if they're going to. And a lot of that's timing as well, right? So like, if you just as a reminder, please write this down. If just as a reminder, you might already know this, but an example with like Z buyer lead or a street text lead, they're from the point that it comes in, those leads on average are converting right around that 4 to 6 month mark. Okay, on average. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and that's why a tool like this is so important. Because you want to catch some low hanging fruit, you want to catch the ones that are ready to go now, but that's why a tool like this is so important, is for your follow up.
Agreed 100%. John, can I share my screen real quick? All right, let's see. Sorry, give me 1 second.
You're on mute, brother.
Hey guys, sorry about that. It just kicked me off when I was trying to share my screen, but let's do this. Do you guys see my screen over here?
Yep.
All right, so I just want to show you how it actually works. When I do home beat, and this is just, for our contacts, is you have people actually going into. So for example, Matthew, it says your client, Matthew, corrected their home details. So home beat allows them to update, their bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot size. And it's a great tool where we always talk about, giving our clients, giving and not taking away from them, right? UVPs and whatnot. So this is a tool that you're giving them for free that's helping them stay up. So as you can see here, and I have hundreds of these emails when every single client is updating their profile and they're going on this on a monthly basis, just to know what's going on with the real estate market, what's going on with their houses.
We're just looking at a Google Drive. I don't know if you shared.
Oh,
it
you
on
are?
screen or not. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me do this.
That's all right. That's why I'm telling you. I'll tell you if you got a boogie on your face. I'm not afraid.
Let me do.
We all get them, man. We all get them. Come on.
All right, better.
There we go.
All right. So this is just my email, and you can see how people are constantly going into HomeBeat and updating their house and their profiles because they want them. The more you update it, the more realistic details they get, the more realistic comps they get, and since this is a free tool that we're providing to them, they're always going in and updating. Another cool thing is people will actually reply to your home beats. See, this one I received 2 days ago. Our home's still going, above asking. And then what I reply, I wrote, yes, and we could get you a comparative market analysis and whatnot. So you're staying in touch with these clients. Another one I got the other day, which was the 25th, which is today is my house is a 2.1 bath. So we had this house in HomeBeat as a 2 bath. So she asked us to correct it, which we did. And she said she's looking to sell, at this summer, the earliest. So what I did is I put this lead in our CRM as a hot, lead campaign. So now she's getting bombarded by our campaigns, bombarded with Whitley and whatnot. So wherever she looks, she's going to see us. And I think that's very important because we're paying for these leads, we're paying for the software, and we don't want anybody to fall through the cracks. And then any questions on that before I proceed?
Does it tie in with Lion Desk?
So HomeBeat, maybe John can answer that better because he's more on the tech side. The way I did it at least, is I exported my Lion Desk contacts as a CSV file, and you could import it into HomeBeat as a CSV file. I know they were talking about tying that in. I'm not sure, what process that's in at right now. But I go into import.
Bobby, I do have a really awesome update on that. So
okay.
as of last week, when you Cloud CMA is synced with the Ren Marketing Hub and Lion Desk, so you don't have to actually export the leads out. You can actually just sync them in together. So Don, to answer your question, it is part of the environment there.
I have a question. Is this tied into Cloud CMA? Because in my area, we're not allowed to use Cloud CMA. Is not service for us.
Oh, you're not?
Mm-mm.
This is Cloud CMA. There's other tools that are similar to this that will email market updates. Do you guys use Matrix for your MLS?
Yes.
Or Matrix? Matrix has their own tool. It's all owned by the same company, which is Lone Wolf, and I believe that is called eProperty Watch, and it's very similar to this. I believe eProperty Watch is a little more basic, where Cloud CMA I feel like is on steroids, so that's why we opted to use that. But they're both owned by the same company, and they do provide similar data to the sellers.
So I will up, it will still give me the ability to upload them on Homebeat?
They call it eProperty Watch, is, you know, the basic version of Homebeat. And then you can upload a CSV file and you can set up, you know, monthly, quarterly, or yearly emails.
And yeah, just to clarify, Homebeat is a feature within Cloud CMA. It's not a separate service.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Homebeat is part of Cloud CMA. Yep. Thank you, John.
And then you could do other cool stuff in Cloud CMA, right? So for example, let's look at, you create a CMA. Let's create one together. So Cloud CMA is linked up to your MLS. Isaiah, do you want me to go over this? Because I guess some people don't have access to this, so I don't want to waste everybody's time.
Is this good with everybody? You want them to show you actually how to create a CMA out of it? Is that good? By show chat?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay, so for example, let's do, so you put in a property address, it goes to the tax records, it'll bring up the bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage when you're getting ready to do a CMA. And then you could obviously go in and correct everything. You could go to your MLS and import MLS ID numbers if you have specific comps you want to choose, or you could let the program choose comps for you. So I usually go to automatically find listings near my subject property, and then I will hit fetch listings. And then we'll do test. All right. So it shows you a cool map where, you know, your subject is and where the comparables are. I usually, in none of my CMAs, will do withdrawn or active listings or pendings. I like to look at what's sold, because essentially actives, I don't know if anybody took statistics, but actives or anything else, you can list your house for $1 million, right? But it doesn't mean, you know, it's going to sell for $1 million. And it will skew your numbers. So I like to get as close as I can to each listing. So I will go through here, and what I'll usually do is I have 2 screens at my office, and I'll pull up the MLS where I could see each individual house, and I will go through it, and I will adjust each house on its own. So I will come here to the adjusted price, and let's say my subject has a 3-car garage and my comparable has a 2-car garage. We found that, talking just to local appraisers, that a garage bay is worth about $5,000. So I'll add and subtract different stuff. And if you guys want, you know, we could do a session on that another time. I don't want to go too much detail into individual fine adjustments, but eventually, after you select your comparables and do your fine adjustments, you can hit customize report, and it will put all of that into different spreadsheets. So once you come over here, you could select in your Cloud CMA different themes, different colors, whatever fits your, you know, brokerage, and then layouts, templates. And then I have my own template that I like to use, that I click listing presentation. And then if you want, you could even, you know, add different covers. And if you don't have your own listing presentation and you want a listing presentation, they do sell different listing presentations that you could purchase for an extra fee. And then once you complete your report, you hit publish report. And what I suggest is creating a template, because I went in here, created a template that I like to use, that I'm very used to using for my listing presentations. And then I click the template, and just like you saw, within 20 minutes, I have a CMA from start to finish completed. And then what I'll always do is, while I'm here, I'll hit create a home beat for the client. I'll make flyers, and then I'll hit create a transaction. And if you guys do use LionDesk, it will create a transaction in there. So it's all linked to each other. And it will import the contact there. So when you do get the listing, all of your documents for that listing are in one place. So you could always go back and look at it, because we're not listing every single, listing house that we're doing a listing presentation on, just like Isaiah said. So if they call us 3 months down the road, you're not like, oh crap, what price did I tell them or anything? Everything's right here and it's documented. And then you could, depending on, what your process is for your listing presentation, you could print it as a PDF and then take something tangible over to your listing presentation, or I could view it live, which puts it in almost like a PowerPoint, where you could start your presentation and then go over it. What I like to do on my listing presentations is I have an iPad I take with me on every listing presentation. I don't bring any papers, pencils, anything. And I will copy this link, and you could email this link to your clients and they could access this through their computer. So I will copy this link, email it to myself. And when I go to my listing presentation, everything's on the iPad. Do you guys want to know how I do my listing presentation? Would that be something you guys would be interested in seeing?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Perfect. So what I personally do is, like I said, I'll put them on Whitley, Drip Campaigns, and Home Beat. So before my listing presentation, they're being bombarded with information about me and my company and our team. So when I do show up to the door, even if they're interviewing other agents, I feel like I already have an edge on everybody because nobody else is doing this. And that's very important for them to see, because when I say, this is the marketing we do, have you seen our ads online? They say yes. You ask them, have you seen ads for other brokerages like this? And their answer is usually no, because nobody else, bombards their leads with ads, and wherever they go, they see us. So when I first get there, I'll shake their hand. I'll start walking throughout the house, and, somebody's house is them opening up their life to you, right? So when you're walking through their house, I will make connections, because that's how you build rapport. I will say, oh, you played football, I played football, or whatever it is. Oh, you like to sew, I like to sew. You like to cook, I like to cook. Whatever that connection is. So I'll build rapport throughout there. I will make connections, and when I'm walking out through their house, if I see stuff that I think is gonna slow the sale down, for example, if they support Trump or Hillary or whoever that is, and they have posters bombarded, I'll tell them, hey, you could support whoever you want, but let's neutralize the house. Stuff like this should go. And I'll have those conversations when I'm walking throughout the house and building rapport with them. And then once I, walk out the house and I'm complimenting them, building rapport and whatnot, I will start asking subtle questions. Hey, why are you guys selling? To dig into those pain points and motivations. We're downsizing, our kids left to college, whatever that is, or this month, every month the budget is getting a little too tight, and we need something that's a little more, affordable. Whatever that is, I'll dig into there. And throughout the house, when I'm walking through the house, I will ask them. I'll say, okay, are you interviewing any other agents or whatever it is? And these will be casual conversations. I don't like doing that when we sit down at the dining room table, because I feel like they put the guard up. But if we're walking around the house and they're pointing stuff out and I'm having these conversations, I feel like their guard is down. And then I will find all their pain points. And once we are done with the tour, I will say, okay, can we sit at the dining room table? I'd like to show you what I could do to help you, maximize your profits while selling this property. And we'll sit down, I'll bring out my iPad, I'll pull out, Cloud CMA, the link that I had emailed to myself earlier, and I will go through my listing presentation. But before I do that, the first thing I ask them is, have you interviewed any other agents? And they're fairly open about that. Yeah, we interviewed agents from Keller Williams or whoever, Remax, EXP, whatever brokerage it is. And I'll ask them, I'll say, did they give you any figures? And 99% of the time, they're like, yeah, they said our house is worth this or that or that. And I asked them, what'd you think about that figure? Some people will say, I thought it was pretty high, or I thought it was low, whatever they're feeling. And then I always make a weird face at that table, and they always ask me, why are you making that weird face? What's going on? And then my job here at that point is to poke holes in every other agent's story, right? Because I want them to, you know, be X'd out, and I want to be the only agent that they're considering. So I'll say, oh, that's weird. You know, how can they come here with a price on a house that they've never seen before? You know, how can they value your house without ever walking through, or, you know, with a preset price? You know, banks don't even do that when they're giving out loans. They'll always have an appraisal. Somebody will come out. I said, you know, how experienced is this agent you interviewed? Did you ask background information about them? And then, you know, my whole point over here, again, is to poke holes. And I don't want to talk crap about any other brokerage, or, you know, I don't want to be that agent. But if I ask questions like, do you know how they came up with that price, or whatever it is, I feel like they're starting to doubt the other agents. So as I'm building rapport, I'm also creating doubt to the other agents, because my whole goal is to beat them out. And essentially all the marketing we did previously is to get us in there, right? Get us through that door. Now we're in that door. Now here's our time to shine. And if we don't shine, all our marketing budget, everything just goes out the window. Because if they end up listing with a different agent, you know, they got the commission, you didn't. So here's our time to shine. So throughout the whole listing process and the presentation, I will make sure I'm building rapport and breaking the other agent's rapport. Then I'll pull up my iPad, and then I'll go through my listing presentation, and I'll say, I'm going to get you a copy of this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. So I'm not going to read you everything in this listing presentation, and I don't want to insult your intelligence. So what I will do is I will email you guys a copy. And if you guys would like a tangible copy, I can bring that to you as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop me, and we can answer any of those questions. They usually agree, and I'll go through this. I'll say, you're going to get communication with us, experience. This talks about, you know, this page talks about what we do, but I'll get into detail on that. This talks about our marketing plan, but throughout the presentation, I will actually show you a house we just sold and what we did for that house. So I'm not going to dig deeper into this. All of this talks about marketing and pricing, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. It's very important that we price this house right. It's not what you paid, what you need, what you want, what your neighbors say, what other agents say, or the cost of rebuild today. We're going to list it at market value. And I will proceed to tell them that I will not take an overpriced listing. And I explained to them that, you know, our whole goal here is to list it at market value, get you the highest dollar, and sell this house. And I look at every listing as a investment, right? If I'm going to spend thousands of dollars marketing your property, I work at 100% commission. If I don't sell this house, then those marketing dollars that we've spent and that my company spent is going out the window. So I want to make a deal with you that we're going to sell this house, and whatever that price is, we're going to list it at market value. And then I'm not going to read these pages to you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, but everything, you know, it's just different graphs showing you that market value is very important. And another reason why pricing at market value is very important is days on the market in this market is very important. If every house is selling within a week in this market and you overprice your house and it's been on the market for 10, 20 days, even buyers that are interested in making you an offer will not make you an offer because they're wondering, is there something wrong with this house that I can't see, that other people saw? Why is this house not selling? And essentially, we have seen that, you know, reducing the price will get you a lower price at the end of the transaction than pricing it right. So if you have two identical houses, one's priced right and sold in a week, will usually sell for higher than this house being priced and reduced. Again, I'm not going to read you all these pages. This talks about how to prep your house up for sale, but I think we've touched all these points when we were walking through your house. Do you have any questions about that? And they usually don't, because I try to touch every point while I'm building rapport, walking throughout the house. Closing tips 101. This page talks about, you know, walking you through the closing process. I will leave this with you again, but I'm not going to read you this because once we're working together, I will hold your hand and walk you through each step of the way, where you don't even have to worry about that. Closing checklist, if you need it, again, I will remind you when to contact the, your telephone, insurance, electricity companies to do that. And then I say, Mr. Seller, this is what's very important to us. This graph shows us where buyers are coming from in last year's studies. So almost 50% of buyers are coming from online advertisements. 33.433% are coming from agents. So this is why it's important to be on the MLS and not a for sale by owner, because you're almost missing 35% of the market, shutting out other agents. Yard sign is 10%, family and friends, word of mouth is 7%, and paper print is 1%. So after that, I tell them what we do is we will list your house, and we go on over 1,000 different websites, and we go on all of our competitors' websites. So once we list your house, you'll be on Remax.com, KellerWilliams.com, through Howard Hanna, EXP. So no matter what the other agent is telling you that's interviewing for this job, we will be on their website and we will get their buyers. So when you work with us, not only will we market your house locally, we will market it nationally and even internationally. So do you see how that could be a huge advantage in today's market, to sell your house? And obviously, you'll have that conversation there. And then I go down here. I say we create professional material. We have a in-house graphic designing team that will create flyers and whatnot for your property. And then I will go further and I will talk about Whitley, and I will talk about Facebook marketing, social media marketing, and different types of marketings we do. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what we do is, we do follow me ads. Are you guys aware with follow me ads? A lot of the time, they're not really sure what that is. And I will explain to them, do you ever go on Amazon, look at shoes or anything? And obviously everybody shops on Amazon. So they'll say yes. And then I'll ask them, when you go on Facebook, do you see the, on the side, do you see those shoes following you? Then you go on Instagram and you'll see sponsored ads, and then you'll see those ads throughout the whole internet until you purchase that item. And we do that same thing with your house. We use YLopo and we use other services that will create follow me ads with your property. So the great thing is if somebody looks at your house on the internet, listing with us will make your house constantly in front of them, to a point where if they're on the edge, like, should we go see that house or not? It's a little above our price range. Should we make the offer? You're constantly in front of them. So our whole point is to say, hey, what the hell, let's go see that house. And do you see how that could, be important to you selling your house compared to just listing it on the MLS like a lot of other brokerages do? Another thing I talk about is showing time. I'm not sure if you guys have showing time where you are, but I will tell them that, Mr. and Ms. Seller, we pay for a service called showing time, 365 days, 24/7. They're open. So if I'm sleeping or I'm at dinner with clients or I'm here doing a listing presentation right now, if my phone rings, I'm not going to answer that. But if that's me as an agent and I'm not answering my phone calls, that means that if I have your house listed, that means we're losing prospective buyers. So we contracted out a appointment service called Showing Time, where no matter what time of the day, and again, we do market nationally and internationally. So if somebody's calling at 2 a.m, it will go into the Showing Time service. They will make the appointment. They will call, text, or email you, or all three, depending on what you choose. And when listing your house, we'll sit down and set your portal up for that. Showing Time will also set up us a feedback portal. So when somebody wants to see your house, it goes through Showing Time. They will set the appointment. The agent will show the listing. And locally, we use super lock boxes, which are connected to our phone with Bluetooth. And the great thing about Supra is when the key gets pulled out and put in, that time in between gets monitored. So I will receive a text message saying, You're showing today at 3 took only 15 minutes. So that tells me that the buyers weren't really interested, right? They walked in and walked out the house. But if they're there for 2 hours, then that tells me that there's a deal to be made. So I will contact the agent, I will contact the client, and I will continue to push them to writing an offer. And my whole goal is to get you multiple offers so we can start, a bidding war. Another thing that I love about showing time is no matter who sees the house, they will get bombarded with emails and phone calls until they leave feedback. Why is feedback very important? I don't care which agent, which company tells you that they have the best marketing plan, because none of the marketing plans work because your house is very unique. What we do is we constantly alter our marketing plans according to the feedback we get, right? So if you have a yellow kitchen and we have 20 showings and 10 people out of the 20 showings say they hate the yellow kitchen, then that's a conversation you and I have to have. Yellow kitchen is a turnoff. Are we going to paint the kitchen or are we going to reduce the price? So that's why feedback is very important, and we're constantly monitoring and altering your listing. If we have 20 showings and one person says they don't like the kitchen, we just leave it because we're not trying to make everybody happy. We're trying to, sell this house. Do you see why, feedback is very important throughout the process, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? So we'll go through that. I'll go through a seller's net sheet with them to see how much, money they'll have. I have certifications that I will show them. I have certifications here. They're also listed on my website, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that you could view. I have a little about me page. And this page, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm not going to read it to you. I will just summarize it. I'll tell them, how I got into real estate, what I did. And I will tell my clients, it's important for you to know about me and my past, because I become friends with my clients. My clients invite me to their Thanksgiving dinners. And if we're going to work together, I hope to become friends with you. And after the sale is done, I hope that one day you would invite me to your family's Thanksgiving dinners. So that's why I think it's very important for you to get to know me. And if we're going to work together, we should become friends. And I'll put I have my resume in here. Again, it talks about what I did and what I do. And I don't read this to them. This is just something I leave with them. So I will just go over it. If you want to see my resume, you can go over that at your own time. I used to work for Costello and Sons a very long time ago. I used to be their manager. It's a construction company, and they also used to own an FBO. The reason I put my job performance in here, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is it shows work ethic. When I worked for a company, it says I was always the first one there, last one to leave. And I think that's very important when you're trying to sell your house, is you don't want, an agent that's not going to, work for you. And that just shows work ethic. And then I have testimonials through some clients, that listed their houses that were expired 3-4 times. And we ended up going in there and selling it on our first time around due to our extensive marketing method. Do you have any questions, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? And they'll say yes, no, whatever it is, we'll go through there. And then what I'll do is I'll say, I want to show you one of the listings that we, just sold. And I go to my website and I have this listing. So what we'll do is we'll show them that we do drone videos for each property. We do we pay for professional videography and all that. Then I will scroll down. I will show him the Matterport link. And then I explain to them how this is very important, because if we're marketing the house nationally and internationally, how, if you have an out-of-town buyer, that they feel a lot more confident with this, and they could go ahead and measure, to make sure their furniture will fit. And it's just, another thing that we're offering to all of our clients. And then we'll go through here. I'll say you will get a home built website. Each website will contain all the information about your property. We also have the properties measured and sketched out by our agents. And what this does is, if you put an addition and it's not reported on the square footage, we want to make sure that you're getting the most money for your house. So we will measure the whole house out and measure each room out. It's just something else we have, and we will provide every information that we can get on your house, so everybody has their questions answered. And then from here, they're always wondering, what's my price worth? What's my house worth? And I asked them, I said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, now that I've felt them out throughout the whole process of walking through their house and whatnot, I know if they're going to list today, or I know if they're going to list, a month or two down the road. So if they're going to list today, I have my laptop in my car and I have my iPad with me. So what I will do is I will say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let's price your house out together. I didn't pull any comps because I didn't know the condition of your house. Now that I've seen it, let's price it together. And what I'll do is, at minimum, I will select 3 comps. The first comp will be superior to their house. And looking through it, I'll make comments like, oh, this has a nicer bathroom, nicer kitchen, bigger lot, whatever. Do you agree that this is a little superior than your house? And, they will agree. All right, this is superior. This is sold for $300,000. Then I will find a house that's inferior to their house. Oh, your kitchen is way better than this. You have a bigger lot. You have the acreage. Do you agree that this is inferior? Yes. All right, this sold for $250,000. So $300,000 is our upper roof. $200,000 is our bottom. So logically, we're going to be anywhere between $300,000 and $250,000. Do you agree? Yes. The second comp, I will try to find that's very similar to their house, and it could be a little more, a little superior, little inferior, whatever it is. And then I'll say, hey, this is very similar to your house. Do you agree? Yes. Okay. So this is, the price that we're going to shoot for. Does that make sense? And I never argue with my clients on pricing a house, because now we did the CMA together. We found the comps together, and, they agree that 300 was the higher mark. So, if another agent tells them they're going to get them 300 or 400,000 for their house, they know that that's not realistic. So then I will go into days on the market, list price versus sold price. And in today's age, list price and sold price is completely different. Everything's selling for $20,000, $30,000 over asking, at least where I am. So I'll tell my clients, okay, these houses sold, listed at this price, sold for this price. And let's say that's a 10% difference. So if 275 is going to be our sold price, let's take 10% of that, reduce the price, and then let's list this house at 265 or, whatever that figure is. And that's important to us because that's going to bring traffic into the door, and we're going to, expect to get an offer for 275. So we're going to list lower, and we're going to expect to get this price because that's what the market shows. Does that make sense? And then what I will do is, if they're agreeing with me and everything, I don't even ask them. I will pull out my listing presentation, not my listing presentation. I will pull out my listing contract. I'll say, okay, let's go over this together. And then that's also on my iPad. I have a pen, and I'll just fill it out in front of them. So we agree that 265 is going to be our price, right? Correct. Yes. Okay. How soon do you think you get the house ready so I could have my team come and take pictures? I'll just start filling it in. And then once I ask them all the questions, Mr. and Ms. Seller, can you just initial here? And then I will have my team here Monday to take pictures and whatnot. And if there's some, blowback as to why they're not signing, I'll say, okay, well, I don't think I did my job correctly to answer all your questions. Do you have any questions that we could go over? And then here's where I'll throw in, our unique value propositions. If they have any questions or any restraint, I'll say, all right, just sign this. And then I will cross out the timesheet on our contract, and I will write in there that we will have a no obligated cancellation. So if they decide tomorrow that I'm not the right fit for them, I will not hold them to that agreement. I will cancel their listing, no questions asked, and I won't charge them a single dollar for that. Another thing I do as a UVP on all my listings is I tell them my sign will be out there. My phone number is blasted on all these websites. I usually tend to dual agent a lot of my, listings. So what I will do is if I do dual agent that, I will give you guys a break on the commission. And then on my listing agreement, or where I am 6% in standard, I will write in there, if dual agent will be no more than 5%. And I will tell them, I'll say, hey, listen, if I get this house sold tomorrow, I'll do 5%. I'll do lower than 5%. But if I'm advertising this house for a whole month and I'm spending, whatever our marketing dollars is, and I end up selling it myself, I'll do 5%. So it could be lower than 5%, but I don't know what that price is going to be. I don't know how soon we're going to sell it, but I will work with you there.
Bobby, let's save the objection part for maybe next week. We'll have a whole session on objections, and
okay.
We're just about out of time here. So let's give Bobby a huge round of applause for going through his listing presentation with us. Thank you. Awesome. So I want to open up for questions. I want to start off by opening up questions with for regards to Cloud CMA. So what questions do we have in regards to Cloud CMA?
I don't have a login yet for Cloud CMA, so I'm just not sure how to get it.
Okay, for that, you're gonna have to message Joanne.
Okay.
I had a question about, you said you use a template. How did you create your template? And is a template just certain pages out of the Cloud CMA that you like to use?
Yeah, so as I showed you in my listing presentation, I have it down to a science now where, I'm doing the same thing every single listing presentation, and that may be different for each person here. So you could actually rearrange the order that you're going through to list in. And some of the stuff like my resume, you could upload a PDF in there into Cloud CMA. So instead of you having to upload a PDF, your resume in there, for example, every single time you're doing this presentation, you just hit template, and it will, just put all that information in there, and it will just change the information, their name, their contact information, right on the CMA, so it looks very personalized and customized to them. And it just makes it look like you spent hours creating that specifically for them when it took you, 2 minutes.
So Bobby, you went into Cloud CMA, created a template, and you use that template pretty much for every listing presentation. Am I hearing you right on that?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so if you guys look at my screen here, Bobby's got his resume, client testimonials, a cover letter template, listing paperwork overview, marketing action plan, and then our company section. So these are all custom pages that he's uploaded, and then it tells the system what data to plug in based on the template. So once you go in there and start to edit it, right, a lot of this is going to be standard for your company, right? This is our marketing action plan. This is our statement about our company. So this is just going to get added in as a page. And then he's got a couple of custom PDF pages that get added in here. They're just PDFs that he uploaded. And then all of the other information is just going to auto plug in from Cloud CMA.
Yep.
So Bobby,
yes.
Do you ever send this to them, the CMA, the Cloud CMA, or is it always presented in person?
I always try to present it in person, and the only reason I do that is, as realtors, we have information to sell. We're all essentially selling the same thing, so I don't want to give them all the information. Then they're gonna have no reason to invite me over. And then after my listing presentation, if they want a paper print, I will get them a paper print and I will deliver that in person, because now, it's an opportunity for me to go there a second time. And then I will also send them the live view link. And again, that's another touch. If I know they're not going to list on the spot, I don't pull out my iPad and say, let's create a CMA together. I will say, okay, I'm going to go do some homework on your house now that I've seen it. how is next Wednesday at 3 p.m.? So I will sit there and set up a second appointment where I could go there, while every other agent that they've interviewed, gives them everything in one sitting. Now I'm in there a second time, the following week, where I could continue to try to sell them.
And then my next question is, when you're sitting at the table, how do you present the iPad? What is your, like, you're sitting at the table, how do you do it so you can see the iPad and they can see it? So what do you try to do at the table to make sure that everyone's seeing it and you can operate it easily?
Yep, great question. So I've learned that, I don't try to sit across the table from them. I feel like that puts a barrier and that puts their guard up too. So I will always sit next to them, and then I'll put the iPad on the table and I will just scroll through while I'm talking, and I'll usually sit at an angle, so I'm making eye contact. And I've been doing my presentation for years, so I know it like the back of my hand, where I don't even need to read it. I know what to say on each page. So I'll just flip the page and I have my script in my head and I'll just go over that. So I'm constantly making eye contact and they can see that.
Great, thanks.
I have another question real quick. Did you mention that you would put it on Whitley prior to the appointment? So you're advertising it prior to listing it?
I'm not advertising their house. I'm advertising me and my team and my brokerage on Whitley. But what that does is, they're seeing you every time they're going on social media. They're getting emails from your drip campaign and they're getting emails from your home beat. So I look at that as like, I'm sending all my tools in, I'm sending the army in. And then when I go to the listing presentation, it like softens everything up, because now all of a sudden they know who I am, they know who I work for, they know what brokerage I'm a part of, they know my team because they've seen all that stuff online.
So Veta, just to expand on that a little bit, is when we have a new lead that comes in, it goes into our Run Marketing Hub, and then it triggers our emails and texting campaigns. And it also triggers our account through Run Remarketing, which is powered by Whitley. And now all of our video marketing and our educational marketing starts showing up in front of them. So by the time that we get out to that listing presentation, we've solved, not always, but we built some trust. There's a presence there. There's that parasocial relationship that we've trained on, because they've already seen all this stuff in advance of the appointment and they've gotten to know us a little bit. There's nothing worse than showing up and they've never heard, they've heard your name, or like maybe an inside sales agent, set the appointment for you so that they've never talked to you. Like all those different scenarios that kind of can come up. I think that's what you're referring to, Bobby. Is that right?
Yep. It just creates brand awareness.
Yeah.
And it just makes you and your team look bigger than you guys essentially are, where you're not marketing to the whole neighborhood, you're marketing to that person specifically.
Yeah, and if you to add into that a little bit, with the Whitley here, so Bobby recorded a video with a home selling style tip video. He pulled one of the topics from Business Video School, and we run this as an ad to our entire database. Okay. And in one day, we've had 401 video views, like 401 actual people have played the video. And we've only spent $8 so far. So if you're not using the Whitley platform yet that's included with your package, definitely make sure you reach out to your support team to get those ads up and running. The only things you need are a Facebook business page, ad account, and a Facebook business account to be able to utilize that tool.
And just to add on that, I think that's very important, because if they don't list with you right then and there, now they're constantly seeing you all over social media, right? So if they interviewed you and 3 other agents, they're not seeing the other 2 agents. They're constantly seeing you. And if they're seeing you, what they think is, okay, this guy's got his advertising down, right? He could get my house out there. He could get it in front of millions of people because I'm seeing him constantly. Who do you want to work with? The agent that just interviewed for a job that you've never seen an online presence, or do you want to work with the agent that's constantly in front of you? So it just reassures your marketing plan. It reassures who you are, who you work for, and what you can do for them in their house.
Question, do you have your contract on your iPad also ready to go?
Yep, I always have the contract on the iPad, and I love having it on the iPad because once we're done, once they've signed, I've signed, I will sit there and I will email to them, and I will also email to our administrator. And then in the email, I will introduce the client to the administrator so they could start that. And then I'll also put in the email, we agreed Monday at 3, we're going to do photo signs and all that. So our administrator can get that process rolling in the background. So it just helps the whole workflow and everything a lot better that, we set up that works for us.
I have a question.
Yes.
I also use Cloud CMA. And I know when I created Cloud CMA, a lot of times I just send them the whole thing. But I think what you're saying is I just email it to them as a marketing tool. But what you're saying is basically set them up on a home beat instead. And then when you actually go for the listing appointment, use the actual CMA, the one with all the templates and everything. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Because,
Okay.
if you, a lot of times they just want the price of the house. If you already send them that, they don't want to talk to you. They're like, okay, well, I'll figure it out on my own kind of thing. So I don't want to give them everything. I want to force them to meet with me before I, open that up. And even my first appointment, I will not give them a price.
No.
If they're not ready to sell, then I'll automatically sit there and create a second meeting. And then I'll come a second time with the actual price.
Okay, so the home beat is,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So the home beat is what you give them as a like a touch then. You set them up on home beat. Yeah. So they're kind of picking the price. Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. And everybody gets a home beat, right? It's not just if I interview for the job, it's my friends, my family, everybody does, because now they're constantly just getting neighborhood alerts. And just like I showed you in my email, people will actually email me and say, hey, you got the bedrooms wrong, but yeah, I'm interested in selling this summer. Now it's like, okay, I'll take you and I'll put you in a seller campaign. So now you're going to get bombarded and, I'm always going to be in front of you. Again, I'm going to be your specialist for your neighborhood and your house.
Gotcha.
So when it does come time to sell, I'm hoping to get the phone call and not somebody else.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Dawn, you asked a question about a promo code for Cloud CMA. Where were you where would you see it? Where were you seeing that? Did you go to the site or was it through the Ren Marketing Hub Lion Desk?
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is this something that I'm already paying for through Ren?
If you're on level 3, we're going to include it into your package price, and we just get it activated. And once you get it activated, there'll be a comp on the bill. So you just got to put it through finance. We don't activate it right away because we don't want to be paying for something that people don't use. But if you're going to use it, you can contact the support team, and if you're on level 3 and above, we'll activate it for you as part of your package.
Also, too, some MLSs have it free. Some of them will offer it free.
Thank you. That's another reason why it's kind of one of those things where you talk to your marketing coach. Is it already included? Is it not? And then if it's not, we'll activate it if you're on level 3 and above.
Bobby?
Yes.
I just want to say thank you. Great job, but well done. And I want to ask you, is there a way to get some of those visuals? Because I haven't seen those before with the target. Those are awesome with, aiming for that right price. If you're out of market, I like that visual, how you did that.
Yeah, I mean, I have it branded for my team, but what I'll do is I'll send it to John, and then, he can forward it to everybody, whoever wants it, if that's cool, John.
Sure thing.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Bobby.
What we'll do, guys, is if you go back to the dashboard where it says Sales Academy, and you log into the Academy and you scroll all the way down to that Academy, when you're logged in, there's a resource section. We'll make sure that it's posted there in that resource session for you guys to be able to download. Sound good?
Perfect.
And just so you guys know, I know Bobby went through it quick. We're gonna take time each week to make sure we dissect this, and break it down kind of step by step. This is not the last time we're going to go through this together in the coming weeks. So we will have a drill down. This week was like just a broad overview. And next week, we're going to break it up into the 7 steps. So you guys remember the 7 steps, or you've heard of training on the 7 steps, right? Maybe some of you haven't through lead conversion, but it's building rapport, building value, creating urgency, trial closing. So we're going to take his presentation, and what we're going to do next is we're going to dissect the 7 steps and how they work and interweave within his presentation. And then from there, you're going to build out your own script. You know how he said he knows what he says on every single page, right? That he's going through, right? So you don't want to, we'll build out your own custom script that you can memorize, internalize, and use as a guide. And so now when you walk in that room, you're just super confident because you know exactly what's going to happen. You know, every objection, you know, what's going to, you have your process down. And that's how you get your conversion to insane rates on cold prospects, where it goes from maybe you're only landing 1 out of 5 to landing 50, 60%. And if you hang with us during this series, we're going to break it down methodically. And just to give you some encouragement, when Bobby and I were both in production, we had like 30 listings pending. I think, Bobby, is that what you said? I think it was what ended up being.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the whole year, we averaged it, and we had about 25 active listings a month when we were both going at it 100%.
So just encourage you guys that with this process, this is something that you don't want to take for granted, because if you get good at the lead generation and you get good at setting the appointments and get good at the conversion, it's like printing money. It's like your cash flow can get really fun. So,
and I think, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. And I'll tell you afterwards.
I was just going to add on to Isaiah, what Isaiah had to say. And, I think you have to have a very strong listening presentation and get in front of the mirror, practice, and do all that, because all this money you're spending on, all of this, your leads, marketing, everything, it's going to be useless unless your listing presentation is down pat, because that's where you close. That's where you have the contract signed. So everything you're doing outside of this is leading up to this, right? We have that funnel. This is like the V of the funnel. This is where you got to close the deal so you can actually turn it into, cash and, ROI.
Awesome.
So what I was going to say, my biggest takeaway was when you said that other companies are advertising your listings. My next listing, I'm going to go on each one of their sites and actually do a snapshot where it has their thing and then my listing. So it shows, and that would make it even stronger. That was a great idea. I had never heard that before. I mean, we all talk about the different sites, but when you mentioned how you're going to be on Remax and all the other competitors, I thought that was brilliant.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great. Any other questions about Cloud CMA?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, I noticed that I have Cloud CMA, but the home bid is not free. You have to pay for it. I'm in level 3. Is that part of our package or not?
Yes, we'll adjust as needed, or get it included as needed if you just reach out to support, and we'll get that included in level 3. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Just as a reminder, we want to make sure that it's something you guys use, or it's not already included for free before we activate it. But we'll get activated. Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
Isaiah, can I just show them one thing here before we break off? Because I had a couple people asking about Whitley.
Yeah, I think this is a great session. Go ahead. Yep.
All right. So for everybody that's going to be interested in using the Ren remarketing platform through Whitley, this is something that we've run into a few times now with some of our clients. So the 3 things that you need are a Facebook business account, a Facebook business page, and an ads account. So for instance, right here, this is our Facebook business account, and then there are business pages associated with it. And then there's also an ad account associated with it. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of this, because you can see your account or your business pages, but a lot of times they don't have a business account set up. And you're going to have a business account set up in order to use the platform. And if you're setting it up for the first time, Facebook does have a 2-week waiting period before you can build custom audiences for remarketing purposes. So I just want to make sure everybody was aware of that. So the first thing you should do is, if you have a Facebook business page, but you don't have a business account, you're going to want to go in and create a business account. Does anybody have any questions with that?
Nope.
Hey, how do I know which Facebook account do I have? Because I don't do too much with the Facebook business.
Right. So what you would want to do is go to business.facebook.com. And then when you go to business.facebook.com, you'll see this settings page here. And on the left, it'll say business accounts, and then it'll say business pages. And unless you have a business account set up here with a page and an ad account set up, you won't be able to run ads. And we can help you through that setup process. Okay.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
I have a question too. So if I run ads on my Facebook business page before, does that mean I have like an ad account set up, or is it another step I have to do?
So there's two things with that. One, did you run the ads yourself, or did you have a company doing the ads for you?
No, I did. It's been a while, but I did.
Yeah, so you most likely have an ad account set up, and you definitely have a Facebook business page. But again, sometimes for like lead gen type ads, you don't need a business account. I wish they'd change their naming conventions, because it's so confusing, like business page, business account, business ad account. But what we've run into a few times now is clients not having a business account. And if that's the case, you just want to hit create. You put in the name of your business, your personal email address that you use for Facebook, and your name. And then once you fill that out, you can actually go to the business here and then go to settings. And then you can associate assets. So your pages are considered assets.
Okay.
So you can go add assets, and then you can make sure that your business account has access to your pages and to your ad accounts.
Ah, okay.
And if you need help with that setup process, then go to rensupport.com, and they'll put you in touch with myself or one of our team members to be able to walk you through that. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that ahead of time, because unfortunately we had someone run into that yesterday where they didn't have a business account, and now they have to go through that 2-week policy period for Facebook.
Thank you.
Some people are asking if it's included on level 3. Based on financial approval, it is, meaning you have to commit to doing bi-weekly videos for it to be included. The reason why is because if you go directly to Whitley, this will cost you $297 a month. So this is a hard cost for us to activate it. We would just want to make sure that if we're going to activate it on level 3 and above, that you're going to actually, do videos bi-weekly. So it has to go through financial approval and a process, but as long as those commitments are there, then we don't have a problem activating it for you. Does that make sense to everybody? Why? It's a big investment on our part. So we just want to make sure it's being used.
And before we build out your Whitley account, we'll make sure that you're set up with like all the Facebook business stuff.
Yep. So
I love Michelle's response. More reason to make me start doing those videos.
It is an ethical bribe. That's for sure.
Oh, you guys don't want to do your videos? Here's this flashy new tool. You can only get it if you do the videos.
That's right. Yeah, we're all on video 2022, so it's whatever it takes, and we know that you guys will win if you get really good at just doing video with your one-on-one communication, your database communication, your remarketing. Just get really good at video, and you guys will be shocked at the results you can get in a year from now. So,
and I mean, if I can get Isaiah sick in a hotel room to record a video. You guys can record a video in the middle of Arkansas. All right.
You want to show them it? It's actually pretty pathetic, but you can show it to them. This is just
Sure.
because we just have a rule. Like, we're like, look, no matter what's going on, doesn't matter if it's the best or not, we just going to get it done, right? And stay on track with our marketing plan. And we had a goal to get our first recruiting video up and running through our remarketing campaign. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to suck, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
So this is Isaiah sick as a dog in a hotel room after we left the Whitley event in Arkansas doing a recruiting video.
If you're a real estate agent and you find yourself
Second. Were you guys able to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
scratching your head because you're sick of working with buyers and you want to find a way to generate more listing opportunities, then this message is for you. Hi, my name is Isaiah Colton, and I'm head of growth for a brokerage called Wren Home Advisors. And what we do is we help agents focus on developing a step-by-step sales and marketing plan to generate more listing opportunities, but more importantly, put a system in place to scale your business to the next level. Between our service and support, our cutting-edge technology, our inside sales agent, our lead generation opportunities, our training and consulting, and unbelievable splits, we are helping agents absolutely crush their goals in 2022. Right now, we're taking applications, so if you're interested and have an open mind to considering other career opportunities, click on the link below, and we'd love to have a private consultation to explore whether it makes sense to work together or not. Click the link below, and I'll talk to you soon.
Not bad for one take, right?
Last night I did 3 videos for text messages, and I was trying to go by the script, and I was having to talk so fast. This is going as fast as I could go.
Yeah.
Do you use the teleprompter app? Because I found that really helps for me, because I usually go off in tangents, and I was able to download the teleprompter. It's just called teleprompter that Clara told me about, and I love it. It's a game changer for me.
Yeah, Big View, teleprompter, both great apps. It does. I'm not a big teleprompter guy, but for most people, it works phenomenal.
I got it downloaded on my phone, but I don't know how to use it.
John, were you going to show something?
Oh, no, and I was just going to say, in that video, we put that out over the weekend to a couple hundred people. So it's a smaller sample size because we're trying to recruit agents that are here in Rochester. So it's a smaller target, but we've actually already had 35 video plays, 38 impressions, meaning 38 people have seen that on their timeline, and 24 people have actually interacted with that advertisement. And we spent a total of $1 a day for about 3 days. So that's the power of the remarketing, right? For $3, we got 35 people or 38 people engaged with our materials here.
Yep. And now what's going to happen is they're going to get a call eventually from one of our recruiters, and then they're going to get an email. You guys get what I'm saying? So it's not just, it's about that omni channel. It's about getting it all with all the work together. And that's where the power of it comes. And then I'm going to launch another video, and they're going to see different message, and they're going to be like, man, these guys are freaking everywhere. Like, I'm seeing like, and then what happens, psychological people are like, well, maybe this is destiny, because I'm seeing like,
I just watched your video thoughts, and now you're calling me.
Yeah. Like, this is like, oh, like subconsciously people buy because of that repetition, and because it builds trust, right? And it's the same thing with recruiting. So if you're trying to build a team, you can use some of these same tools.
And also, when you get your Whitley first integrated with your Facebook, it will go off of the analytics for all of the Facebook ads that have ever been run. Because when I set this up, I almost had a meltdown, and I was like, Isaiah, I don't know what I did. I don't know how I spent $230,000. Please don't kill me.
Yeah, that's our total. That's all of our ads, like
of all time. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do?
All right, this has been I know we've gone long here, but hopefully you guys have gotten a lot out of today's session. And just take a minute in your notes and just come up with just 1 or 2 action steps, if you would, just really quickly before we leave here. I want to make sure we always leave these meetings with some action steps, and then John, while they're doing that, if you could drop
the survey.
Yeah, the survey link, that would be great.
It's amazing how I just messaged you that I'm dropping the survey.
Got it. Let's give Bobby another huge round of applause. You know, like I picked up some awesome stuff from him. Great job. And Bobby, next week, what we'll do is we'll just keep this conversation going. I'd like to dissect your presentation a little bit more and kind of, you know, break it down, ask you some questions step by step for tomorrow. Does that sound, or for next week, does that sound good to everybody if we did that next week, where we kind of just broke it down into different sections and ask questions along the way, now that we got the overview? All right, so that's what we'll do next week, and go from there. So
And get your Whitley set up.
yeah. All right, guys. With that, have a great rest of the day. And we have a special session on Friday. If you're looking to build a team, hire an admin or an inside sales agent, that, you know, that's what Friday session's for. I also want to let you know, if you want to deep dive like into building a team and what it takes, I'm doing a 4-hour free challenge tomorrow. If we can drop that link if you want to share that with your colleagues or whatever. It's a 4-hour intensive training, but I'm breaking down all 4 pillars you need to focus on in detail to build a dynamic, profitable team. So if you have maybe some mental barriers, you're running into some challenges, some fears around building a team, what it takes, or maybe just you're already building a team, but you're kind of frustrated with some things because it's not growing, or maybe you're not scaling as fast as you want to, be sure to check that challenge out. I'm just doing it for a very small group. There's only probably going to be 20 to 30 people there, so it'll be a little bit more intimate of a challenge. But if it goes well, we'll start running them kind of consistently every month at the end of the month, where we do like our lead generation, lead conversion challenge at the beginning of the month. So outside of that, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the day, and we'll see everybody soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.